Dear listener, ClockTower is intended for mature audiences and might be inappropriate or possibly triggering to some. Many of the themes and events in ClockTower are inspired by weird fiction as well as similar concepts, which means the show can get dark.
If that isn't something you enjoy, please listen at your own discretion. We here at the ClockTower care about you, so please put your mental health first. Our show will be here when you're ready.
Welcome to another episode of ClockTower, a D&D 5e experience. For those of you familiar with 5th edition, please keep in mind that all of our players are playing a custom class called the ClockTower Agent. We also play with a lot of house rules in our games that we as a group collectively enjoy. We explain these rules as they come up in earlier episodes, so if you're just joining us, you may need to listen to those previous episodes to clear up any confusion. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and welcome to the ClockTower. All of you now sit in front of the mirror as usual, with the exception of Jaeger, who has already gone through the mirror onto the next mission. Beyond the mirror, you see thick forests and overgrown vines that stretch across what little of a floor you can see, like a carpet of green. Distinguished beams of light shine through the trees and leave god rays through what landscape of the forest you can see through the mirror.
Sam turns to Reagan and turns to Rock and then turns back to Reagan. I don't know if I'm ready to go back. It's been so I can't even describe it. I don't think I can go back and do that again.
What else are you gonna do?
He's just kind of stuck.
And as much as I don't believe with his ideals, I can't leave someone trapped like that.
Then it's settled.
Rock walks through.
We might be executioners, but it's the least I can do to make sure we're humane about it. Sam walks through.
I look at the hourglass, the universes, and step through.
For a moment, as you look at the hourglass and see all of the many, not only worlds, but the universes that hold them, falling like grains of sand, you feel like, as you look at the hourglasses that seem impossibly small to you, more worlds within those small grains of sand than you could possibly comprehend, you feel, not for the first time, like you're being watched in here by something that might look at you with the same minute significance that you look at those worlds with. And then you step through the mirror. And as all of you stand shoulder to shoulder, looking around, you see the golden light of the sun shining through the trees as multitudes of magnificently colored birds erupt from the foliage all around you and fly into the air, almost like bursting more holes through the canopy of tree leaves above you, making even more light shine in. As you guys look at all of the hanging vines and the dense forest or dense jungle all around you, you see massive flowers of brilliant colors that slowly sway in the wind, and some of the vines have a slight pale hue to them as it drapes down, and then the vine slowly slides down the tree and disappears around the tree, and you realize that may not have been a vine.
Oh. Well, this is at least a bit more lively than we're used to.
And as you are all standing there, you hear in the distance drums at a quick tempo, backed by many other instruments that play a sort of almost music of celebration that echoes throughout the jungle and fills the entire scene with a lighthearted merriment that is so very foreign to all of you, especially here after the Gray City. If there was any sort of hard stop, you were just in one of the darkest places you've ever been, this place is alive in every sense of the word. As you guys are looking around, and you do kind of think about it, right? You're like, all right, where are we? You know, ahead is the village of Durann. The village of Durann is in the deepest jungle of this world. The jungle itself is called the Jungle of Opportunity. The reason it's called that is because it is one of the most dangerous places to live in this entire world. Those that can survive here for 3 years are said to be able to go anywhere else in the world and carve out anything they want for themselves in life. The most successful people in all of the world, all of them at one point, spent 3 years in the Jungle of Opportunity. Something about this place changes people, makes them better.
Rock opens up his pocket watch. How much time?
It is on 7 o'clock, the hour hand, and the minute hand looks like it's moving way slower than a minute.
I look up to the rest of the crew and go, we could be here for a while, actually. I don't know about you guys. Tune's kind of catchy. You kind of see Rock just swaying back and forth a little bit.
Maybe there's something to eat. Jaeger starts walking toward the...
As all of you hear that, you realize that, like, you don't remember when you have ever eaten. Like, think about how odd of a thought that is, right? You haven't eaten throughout this entire campaign. You don't remember when the last time you have ever eaten is or was. However, as soon as he talks about food, you immediately know, as of having the knowledge of living here for quite some time, that the village of Durann has some of the best food in the Jungle of Opportunity, as it is, by most accounts, the heart of the city. It's where the people who choose to stay in the jungle live their lives.
Start heading toward the music.
All right.
I follow Jaeger.
Best enjoy the place before it suddenly burns down. Sam follows after.
I walk after all of them.
All right. And as you guys go, you are met by impossibly tall gate walls that look like they're made out of jungle trees that have grown together into a wall. And the canopy themselves looks like what the guards of the wall are watching the wall from. And you recognize those to be the city guard. They use slings, but are better with them than most people are with bows and arrows. In the village of Durann, as you guys are walking up to these massive walls, you realize that there is a gate made out of like hanging vines that seem to move on their own. However, when you guys start to walk up to the gate, all of the vines move apart as if a curtain at a theater, revealing the city of Durann, which is a beautiful city built of a combination of carpentry and letting the wood itself grow into specific places that they need them to be. A lot of the houses are built on stilts so that they can have businesses and other places of community beneath the houses themselves, so people live above and come together below. In the center of town, there is a large statue of a strange person in a hooded cloak with their face covered and kneeling down and handing a small child, looks like a platinum ball, to a small child who's taking it from them. You all look at the statue and for a second have no idea what the hell that is. And then when you actually think about it, the ClockTower is giving you this knowledge, almost explaining to you without saying anything. And it says that the statue is of the founder of Durann. The founder is called the Wise Man, and he is said to have given the secret knowledge of the jungle to the child in the statue, who is Durann. And he started this village, learning how to work with the jungle itself and learn to live side by side in it. And the jungle itself helped to build the city. And as you guys thought, there is in fact a celebration going on right now. Imagine like downtown Disney in Disneyland with like how many people are packed in this place. And rather than there being shops beneath all the places, there's just people set up doing different things that they're offering to the people at this celebration for free. Nobody's making any money. They're all just giving things away. You all look at it and find it strange that you don't see any money passing. And then you realize that nobody has any money in Durann. In Durann, you get what you earn in more ways than one. The other thing that catches your eye are small groups of people walking together, just like the four of you. And as you look at all of your clothes, you find it's very similar to the first world you guys ever visited, in that it's almost medieval, but it's a little bit more advanced than that. The style and the make of the clothing is a little bit more put together. It's a little bit cleaner stitched. And all the other sort of accessories that don all over your outfit speak to the very involved life of an adventurer. And you see small groups of people that also fit that bill scattered around this celebration. They look like they are armed to the teeth with not only weapons, but supplies that they would need to spend days and weeks in the jungle on their own. And as you guys think about it, you realize that this celebration is, in fact, the celebration of somebody having received the knowledge of the forest. They have earned the respect of the city of Durann after spending 3 years here, learning the lessons of the forest and being given the secret knowledge of the forest that can only be given to you by the elders of Durann. And now everybody's partying. What would you all like to do now that you're here in the party?
Rock's gonna kind of look around, look at his own party members, take a deep breath and go, we got a lot of time here, and this seems a lot less stressful. I might have some fun. I'm not gonna lie.
As you're saying that, there is this girl with dark brown hair and green eyes who is wearing like friendship bracelets. She's wearing really thick, like they look like they're made out of really thick rope all around her ankles and her wrists, and she's got like little pieces of metal that jangle every time she moves, and she's dancing with the music as like a lot of other people are all around this celebration. And she sees you, and she like does a little spin in front of you and holds out her hand.
He kind of, instead of just immediately taking her hand, he kind of looks at the party like a child, is like, can I do it? Specifically looks at Jaeger and Reagan and Sam as well. Just kind of like all three of them in like immediate glance, like three parents, like, can I do it?
As you're looking at them for a second, she put her head down and put out her hand as if it was like some form of dance move. And as you hesitate for a little bit, she looks up with the look of embarrassed rejection.
Fuck, I just immediately grab her hand like, yeah!
And she pulls you into a dance that whisks you away through the city of Durann, that leads you from stall to stall as you're given like food that's like pushed into your hand, and you're like, you have enough time to like take a small bite of like one thing before you're off to another place, being pulled along in the dance and in the party of Durann, having drink handed to you that you're like, oh, okay, and like drinking along with it. How do you go along with it? Are you just getting into it?
He's just having the gayest old time. Just like he's doing little shimmies. He's I like to imagine Rock right before he would have gotten whisked away, he would have like yelled like be safe or like just something like or something like that as he just woo
Survive!
And you guys see Rock like pulled into the sort of beautiful chaos that is this party right now. What are the three of you doing right now? I mean, it's hard to like all the pain that you guys had just gone through of the Gray City, of realizing what you've just done is almost like lessened more so than it should be.
Sam would like to think a little bit more about the place. How common is magic in this world?
Very.
In that case, Sam's gonna kind of look at the party a bit and kind of look not towards the main party, but kind of off to a more quieter part of town. Kind of, I'm gonna take a walk for a bit. I have some things to think about, and I think this place will be good for my head.
I think that's fine.
Have a good time. I guess we'll know if anything bad happens. And Sam's gonna kind of head off in his own direction.
Sam kind of almost somberly walks off into the city proper, almost skirting the edge of a lot of the people who are going through the main festivities, leaving only Jaeger and Reagan left sort of standing at the gate of the city, at the main entrance. And as the two of you are sitting together, as you're both scanning the crowd and just kind of looking around, roll a perception check.
16.
9.
Jaeger, you see somebody who looks at you and squints a little bit, and then turns kind of quickly and starts making his way through the crowd away from you with purpose.
Jaeger's gonna take the time to try to cut him off, just sort of go in a roundabout way to catch up to him.
All right. Reagan, you don't see that man. However, as you're scanning the crowd, you see somebody, and like there's all kinds of different people here. They're all predominantly human. Anybody who looks maybe not human might have like pointed ears, but that's about it. And this is a very like colorful, festive place. Like a lot of people have different colored hairs and eyes and things like that. But as you look over, you see somebody with blue hair that's like shaved on both sides, and you recognize their face structure immediately because you see Lawrence.
Oh.
They're just sitting there. They're standing in a dress, leaning on a wall, talking to a taller man who's like got his arm up against the wall and is leaning over, and they look pretty disinterested as to whatever that man is saying, but that man looks very interested in what he has to say.
Can I just go help him out?
Yeah, I mean, you go to help Lawrence. Rock, as you are dancing your way through the party, you get pulled away and you see a stand of beautifully crafted jewelry. And the one that catches your eye the most is a small necklace that looks like a hand-carved piece of metal is hanging at the end of it as the amulet on the end, and it looks like a sword. The person at the stall, he's got like dark tan skin, and he's got like thick dreads that are all different rainbow colored that are sort of like tied up into a big bun on the top of his head. And he goes, "You look interested. Do you like this one?"
I do actually. The sword is beautifully engraved.
He picks it up immediately. He goes, "It's yours. Take it."
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
He smiles to the next person you see, and he holds out a small gold chain with a round circle on it.
With pleasure.
He nods at you and like clasps you on the shoulder and smiles at you a big smile, like he's having the time of his life, and he's just glad that you're appreciating his work. And then he's pulled away to somebody else as he goes, you're looking at that one. I worked 3 hours on that one. And he starts going to hand over another one to another person.
I put on the sword one. I want to take a look at the other one though. Is just the gold? Is it a beautiful piece of like engravement? There's nothing suspicious about it.
It is beautiful in its simplicity.
Rock is literally going to say out loud in a like silent tone, but just enough to where if someone was close to him, he could hear him and go, "Why the fuck am I here?" He's gonna start twirling and like just like keep partying. He is like Rock's enjoying himself,
having the time of his life.
Time of his life, man.
All right, Sam, you walk off into a quiet corner of the festivals of the city, and out of the corner of your eye, you see that there is maybe 5 or 6 people gathered up in the shadow behind one of the larger buildings, and they all keep checking down one of the alleyways nearby them, and they look like they're all pretty well armed. And they're not looking in your direction. They don't seem to see you. They look like they're waiting for somebody else.
Does it look like, if Sam's gonna kind of skirt the building, not to think of it, but just to see what's in the alleyway, does it look like they already have somebody in there, or are they waiting to jump somebody?
It looks like they're waiting to jump somebody.
Sam's gonna like stop, kind of give an annoyed look, because out of all the places, this place seems really nice, and if you're gonna jump somebody, why jump them here?
Right.
And I have this little devious spark in his eye, and sitting in the corner is going to flick his fingers and cast Silent Image of a person that just kind of wanders, like a well-off, kind of nice person, but still looks kind of downtrodden, but maybe a bit sad, and kind of animates them walking around the corner and then walking towards the alley where they would be jumped.
They see that person and they let them pass.
Mm-hmm.
They don't interact with the image at all. Not like you think they saw through their illusion, but just that's not
their target.
Who they're waiting for. Their mark, yeah. Which is even more concerning.
Right.
And Jaeger, as you are chasing this guy, right? Mm-hmm. He gives you the slip for just a second. Roll perception.
What's the option is 13.
You're not sure, but you think he just fucking like dipped down a corner.
What kind of clothing was he wearing? Just so I can get an idea of what his outfit was.
He was wearing like a purple shirt that kind of went down into like a flowy sort of material, almost like he was wearing, it's like a weird cross between a dress and a tunic. And he was wearing tight leather pants and boots.
Jaeger's gonna just look over to someone who's near him, who seems like they're not really two interacting with anything else? Maybe they were just sitting down having it.
There's a guy who's literally just sitting on a chair, drinking a drink, and like sort of tapping his foot to the rhythm of the beat.
Okay, I want to lean over to him. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hey.
A friend of mine passed by here. Do you happen to know where he went? Purple shirt.
Yeah, I
pants?
think he just went over there.
He points to the direction the dude disappeared.
Great, thank you. I just wanted to be sure. I didn't want to end up losing him somewhere.
Yes, have a great time.
You as well.
Yeah.
Have a wonderful day. I start heading in that direction.
You turn the corner nonchalantly, start walking along, and immediately you see a group of like 7 guys at the end of that alleyway. The purple top is talking to them. They whisper something, and they're all like squinting and looking at you. And Sam, you see at the same time a dude in a purple top run towards the people that you had seen, ignore the sort of illusion that you had put forth, and that dude starts like whispering some shit to the people in the alleyway. And then not much longer, you see Jaeger walk into view coming out of the alleyway that they were standing next to.
And Sam rolled his eyes, of course it's you.
Do you say anything to them?
Hi. I'm new in town. Look, I don't really know too much about this whole festival, and you seem like you knew me or something? Did I break some sort of local custom that I'm not used to?
He looks at you and looks to the guys around him. He says, "Yeah, you are new in town."
Yeah. That's what I said, yeah.
He looks at you and he looks at his guys again, and his guys start to like surround you a little bit.
Oh, I wouldn't.
And he goes, "Here in Durann, there's a tradition among small circles of ours that anyone who comes through those gates and gives nothing has everything taken." And you looked like a great candidate because I really, really like that coat of yours and your hat.
It's a nice hat, isn't it? It was a
So,
gift. Thank you.
yeah. So I'd like to have it.
Oh, sure, yeah. Put the hat on his
The
head.
dude looks super confused because he expected you 100% not to give up your hat. And he like takes it, and all of his friends look real disappointed.
Oh, it's fine.
He looks really disappointed, and he goes, "Thanks."
No problem.
And he puts the hat on, and all of his boys like start to walk away. Like they all, like the whole group of them starts to just walk off because they were like getting ready to just take you for everything you had worth.
Thank you for telling me about the custom. I wasn't aware.
Yeah, he looks super like, yeah, whatever, and he like waves his hand over his shoulder.
In the meantime, Sam has been like muttering an incantation and summoning like a glowing ball of energy ready to back Jaeger up, and like just stops. And it like fizzles in his hands. And he's like,
Jaeger like waves at them as they walk off.
and it's just like Sam's like,
Nice guys. And Jaeger's face goes. Sam would see Jaeger's face go from smiling like bye to blanks out and then turns and walks back down the alleyway.
Good to know you haven't changed.
Oof. Reagan, you walk up and you hear the man saying, "And that's when I put the beast in a headlock. Now, no normal man would be able to put a beast this large in a headlock, but I assure you that I am no normal man. For I am Oscar the Great, adventurer renowned, and battle extraordinaire." As the person is like, okay. And they look away, and they see you walking up.
Hey, sorry I took so long. Did you still want to go get some food?
They look hella confused. The guy says, "Nonsense! If you need food, there's plenty to eat, and I can show you the best places to eat, because I, Oscar the Great, know all of the best places to get food in all of Durann, because I'm a great adventurer and battle extraordinaire."
Reagan's gonna try and hold a chuckle. And then say, "Your name's Lawrence, right?"
They look at you, and they squint, but they seem to get the idea, and they go, "Yeah, that's my name." And they like say, "Anyway, I gotta go with my friend now. Thanks." to the guy. He goes, what, but we were just having a conversation. What about getting food? I could show you food or anything. And then the dude looks kind of really sad.
Oh.
And as like they look at you and nod and start to walk with you away from the guy, the dude goes, "You should talk to me later. I'm really great." And he looks down as if maybe he doesn't believe that he's great.
Oh.
And then the person turns to you and says, thanks? My name's not Lawrence, by the way, it's Lily. Can I ask who you are?
Oh, sorry. I'm Reagan.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks for the help.
Of course.
I guess. And they like shrug awkwardly, like, where do I go from here? What do I do? And they like smile and they say, I guess I should get back to the party somewhere else. And they look back to Oscar, who kicks a dirt clod slightly, looks around and waves at a person. He goes, "Hi, I'm Oscar." Okay.
God, he's the new Ron.
I love him.
I like kind of want to go comfort him. I'm not going to. I'll just nod at Lily.
Yeah.
Oops.
Which you're like, that's so weird because like they are dressing and acting a little bit more feminine than Lawrence did, but they look exactly like Lawrence, like twins, for sure, at least.
Weird.
Like same color hair, same color eyes, same haircut.
Lawrence with slightly more lip gloss.
Yeah, like Lawrence with slightly more lip gloss. Like, they had no idea who you were.
Yeah.
No recognition, none. And as they start to walk away, you feel a weight in your pocket.
The only one who was used to that.
Oh, you have them back, by the way.
Cool.
All of your max amount of ClockTower dice are back. However, you do realize that you get the same feeling when standing next to this person of like the weight of that coin existing in your pocket that you did when you stood next to Lawrence.
Okay.
How many of you, given 3 hours, what would you say your character does in this city? What's the main thing you would like to do in this city with enough time? Sam?
Sam would like to find people who are not doing so hot. Not so much like health-wise, medicine-wise, but more kind of emotionally. Maybe they seem a bit more out of it. Maybe they seem a bit away from the party, and just kind of talk to them, see what's up, share their problems along with whoever they might be experiencing.
Excellent. Reagan?
I'd like to, like, see if I could help people, like, in the booths while looking at the other side of the city, like, behind the scenes.
All right.
Yeah, I'm going to go around for a little while and have some drinks, try some food, get to know some people, see if maybe I can meet some people and have a generally good time. Things have been kind of heavy lately, so why not party a little bit?
Rock would be having the still good time that he was having previously. Every so often be like, oh, I should really find the group and get back to the mission. And then something kind of bruises his way by and he gets distracted and then he just kind of keeps the cycle going.
You do party until like it starts getting late in the night and you are like dancing and then you kind of bump into somebody and they catch you because you like lose your balance, and as you realize that you're not still moving like you're dancing, but the world is moving like you're dancing, you realize you might have had enough to drink at this point. And as everything kind of seems to wobble around as you're trying to figure out what you should do next, you start to realize maybe you really should find your friends, because this is getting a little bit out of hand.
You're right. I'm also going to do a Parker personal roll for Rock.
All right.
Oh, he vomits.
Ooh, yeah. So you find yourself a secluded alley in which you start to regret the majority of your partying, maybe partying a little bit too zealously. Jaeger, You find yourself in a warmly lit tavern in which somebody has given you a fur-lined cloak, and you sit around with 3 like very experienced adventurers who live in the city of Durann and only live here because they don't ever want to give up the life and spirit of adventure. They came to the spirit of the jungle of opportunity as a way to excel in life, as many others did before them, but they learned that the journey itself was what they loved more than any sort of reward could ever fulfill. And they have stayed here to go on adventure after adventure. Some of them are missing fingers. They're scarred to all hell. It looks like they have been through a meat grinder and they've come out the other side as like really, really lighthearted and like jovial old men adventurers who, despite the fact that like you don't have a lot of really clear memories before stepping through the mirror in the clock tower, you feel kind of like an old salt yourself just from like all the memories of trying to find the clock tower in the first place, coming away from your homeland. Like, however, they're treating you just as they would somebody else just as worthy at their table, with or without any sort of without thinking of a better way to say this. They're not gatekeeping at all. If you say you're like you've been on some adventures and experienced some hard times and share some of your stories with them, they believe you 100%.
Yeah, I told them the story about the crocodile creature we fought.
They talk about how they have fought very similar creatures in the woods.
Oh, around here?
In the jungles, yeah.
Oh.
Crocodiles with multiple segments of legs going on and on and on forever. More than that, they talk about multitudes of other strange creatures that the jungle of Durann has always been known for strange creatures, but they talk about how the older they get, the weirder the creatures get, and that everything keeps getting more and more twisted as it goes on. But it makes for great adventures, and so they just keep going out and keep exploring, finding new things. There's always something new to discover in the jungles of opportunity, and there's always some sort of obstacle that they have to tackle, whether it's some sort of beast or an ancient trapped ruin or some sort of grand puzzle given to them by a strange wise creature in the branches of a tree. Whatever it is, they have stories on stories on stories of being able to overcome whatever adversity they meet and come back and share a drink with their friends at the end. And the only thing that strikes you as odd about this is that none of these men have been killed yet. They don't talk about how any of their friends have died in the jungle either. In fact, they only talk about everyone coming back and having drinks.
Well, regardless, I sit there, I listen to all the stories, I reciprocate myself, and then after a point, I just look at them all and nod and say, thank you. I look forward to having my own adventures here for a while.
They like all clasp you on the shoulder, and I think they even like pull you into like an over the table kind of a hug thing where they all like clasp their drinks together and they're like, to adventure, and they all like
to adventure.
They almost drench each other all in their own drinks. They're just they're so about it. They're so overzealous. Reagan, as you go to several booths, especially like ones that are like kind of in the weeds making food for people, and ask if they need any help, you are definitely met with the ability to help as they teach you what to do really quickly and have you set to work. And they are every booth that you go to that needs help, that you help until they've got a handle on things and go to the next booth. That even the people who don't serve food are unbelievably grateful and don't ask anything more than you're willing to do at any given booth. And the people here are just so loving and accepting to just let you immediately like jump in. They're just thrilled to have somebody who cares enough to try and help them. And as soon as you're like, all right, I'm going to move on, they have no like, oh, how dare you go help somebody else? We still need help here or anything like that. They're just, thank you for everything you've done for us. And they like give you stuff to go on your way. And even if like after like the second food booth, right, you're like, well, I'm not really hungry. And they're like, no, they give it to the booth you're going to. They haven't had a chance to get out of the booth. So give them something so that they can experience it without having to leave. And you realize as you help the people of the city that that's how the city works. The people here help each other. They give what they have and they don't ask for anything. And since the entire city works like that, the entire city operates like that, nobody wants for anything. And you know, based on not being from here for real, that all it takes is a few people to take and not give. But nobody does that here. At the end of the day, all the people who go out on adventures bring things back to the city. Nobody leaves and doesn't come back. For all it's worth, however dangerous the jungle of opportunity is, it seems that the jungle itself is just a setting for adventures, and that nobody gets a bad ending. Maybe in the city of Durann, there are no bad endings. Sam, as you go and talk to the people who are down and talk to the people who are on the fringes of the party, people who are on the edges, everybody just sort of talking to you about your problems, you find that everybody here is willing to listen. And more so when you talk to them, they more often than not would rather listen to you vent your frustrations than talk about any of their own unless specifically asked or prompted. That is to say, I'll accept one person who is, for lack of a better word, in the midst of what you can only assume is a panic attack, as they have deep, dark circles under their eyes. The people surrounding them are trying to talk some sense into them, to talk them down, to try and get them to calm down. That's why they're on the edges of the city, away from everything else. And when you walk in, the conversation you hear goes something along the lines of, you're just having, it's in your head, you're making it up, you just need to calm down. The festival's, look, there's anything you could want out there, just get it. And the dude continues to respond with, no, it's wrong, I'm not wrong, I'm not. And they keep trying to talk to him, trying to figure out what he's on about. He says, my wife is still out there. And they go, you've never been married. No, I'm telling you, we all went on an adventure out there and she's still out there. She didn't come back. You've never had a wife. And you catch that man's eye and you know, just as the strange way that you know things about the ClockTower, that man isn't crazy and he's not lying. Hey, Ellie again. Thank you for listening. As always, I'd like to thank our producer, Who's, at who's.music. And I would also like to thank our sponsor, Alpha Lupine Images, for donating the equipment to help us make more content with better quality. Thank you to Darbii, Cal, Parker, and Trent for their great performances this week. Thank you again for listening. If you want to know anything else about the ClockTower, like where to contact us, other episodes or projects, or maybe you just want to download the ClockTower class to use in your own games, all of that info and more can be found on our website, clocktoweragent.com. Again, that website is clocktoweragent.com. We release our episodes bi-weekly, so episode 9 will be out on all platforms on Friday, October 16th. Until then, time's ticking. See you in the ClockTower.